long bed here. I know you can't see the entirety of it, but that's about 144 inches. And then I'm going to plant 8 tomatoes on it, and that figures out to be about 18 inches apart. And I'm going to try sort of like staggering them, so one tomato on this side and then one on this side, kind of zigzagging. Just because I want to. And so I'm going to plant, I have my first tomato. It's a Moldova green tomato that I got as a gift, as a trade earlier in the year, and I just kind of planted it experimentally to see if I could plant it a little earlier. I probably planted about 2 to 3 weeks ago, and it's doing okay. Let me show you what it looks like. It hasn't really grown, but it hasn't, you know, shrunk or anything at all either. So I'm going to be planting there's one here. I'm going to be planting another one 18 inches on this side, and then another on the other side, 18 inches on that side. So I will show you guys that process. All right, so time to take a shovel and dig a hole. I'd say it depends on the height of your tomato, but mine are about, I don't know, like 10 inches tall, 8 to 10 inches. So my shovel's about a foot tall, so probably a shovel's height tall hole. And the reason for that is I'm going to bury my tomato as deep as I can, but of course leaving like the top root. And I don't really measure anything, I just kind of like eye it out. It's about 18 inches from the other one. A little, like a 1.5 feet basically. So I just grabbed the first one. This is the Dark Galaxy tomato. And you see these bottom leaves aren't super healthy. So I'm going to clip this one off, just pluck it off. This one, I think it's got a little bit of a phosphorus deficiency. It's purple, but that happens with like the lower leaves. They're usually not as healthy. So I pop them off. And then the little root hairs on the side of the tomatoes, they'll turn into roots, and that's why I'm burying it deep. So kind of squeeze it out, squeeze the bottom. These tomatoes are raring to go. Kind of tease the roots apart a little bit, pop it in, and just kind of throw the dirt back around it. I'm going to give it a little push just to firm it in place. And there you go, that's your first tomato. Okay, so there's a couple things you want to keep in mind before planting your tomatoes. You want to check your weather forecast and make sure it's at least 50 degrees at night. I did that last night, and we are good to go. And another thing is I dug out the holes where I want to plant my tomatoes, and I put the tomatoes next to them because there's certain tomatoes that do better. For example, the Black Beauty has anthocyanins, and it turns darker in the sun, so I put it on the south side, and the same with the beefsteak or the larger varieties like the Yellow Radiance and the Beauty King, because the south side will get more sunlight. And then things that are kind of taller like the Brad's Atomic Grape or the Sun Gold tomato, things like that climb, I'm putting on the north side so they don't shade out the other ones. And you'll remember the variegated Painted Lady I'm keeping on the north side as well to kind of keep it protected from the sun. So that's kind of a good thing to like plan out beforehand, depending on where you want to put your tomatoes. And then I've got a couple of eggs. I'm trying to do this technique that I learned also from Risen Refuge Farm, where you crack an egg and you put it in the hole. I'm not sure the science behind this exactly, but I know there's calcium in the eggshells, although it takes a long time to break down. There must be something in the egg yolk, but she says that it works for her, and it's kind of anecdotal, but I say why not try it. One of them, the Dark Galaxy, I already planted, so kind of like compare, you know, they're not the same varieties, but we'll kind of compare to see what the progress is on that. And yeah, so let's get planting. I'm gonna just show you guys how I do it. Here are another few tips for you. You can use the core gardening method like I am, which I learned from the MI Gardener. I'll link his video below. But essentially I just dug a couple trenches, one on each side, and I filled them with rotting straw, or you could use like newspaper as well. Basically my winter mulch. I just kind of dumped in there. I think it dug at about a shovel's length, so like 8 to 12 inches down, and then a couple of inches of that straw material. And so what that does is it draws moisture in when it rains, and it kind of acts like a sponge, releasing it when it is dry. So perfect for our dry Seattle summers, and it helps to reduce the amount of times I have to water, which kind of creates like a splashback onto the tomato leaves, which cause fungal diseases. Same reason why I'm going to be mulching my tomatoes as well as all my plants pretty much during the summertime. And also make sure you add some compost. A couple inches is good using the no-dig method. So I just did that right under my tomatoes where they are, and I'm going to add mulch on top and then water them in. Alright guys, so it's been a couple weeks since I planted my tomatoes, and I'm just going to show you how to cut off the side shoots today. I did this for most of the plants already, as you can tell. And you don't want to cut them off too late because that'll stress out the plants more rather than if you cut them off now like I'm going to. So these side branches here, this one down here too, are all gonna go because eventually this thing is gonna reach that cattle panel, and then I'll prune off every leaf except for that top portion. But it's not that tall yet. I'm just doing a little maintenance work and wanted to loop you guys in. Alright guys, so it's been a couple weeks. I'm gonna tie my tomatoes to the cattle panel trellis. Just using some of this tomato tie tape. You can get it from pretty much any hardware store or online. It's nice and flexible, so as the tomato grows, it gives it some leeway for the support. I'm gonna start with this Brad's Atomic Grape tomato. It seems to be the fastest growing of the ones that I have so far. I already kind of like looped it around the trellis, but just gonna take this and I'll tie it up here just to kind of secure it into place and straighten it up. Just tie a nice little knot, nice and loose here, just like that. And then as it keeps growing, I'll tie it a little more if it needs support, or I'll probably just kind of loop some of the stems around through the bars of the cattle panel trellis. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest, and then I'll keep you guys updated about the progress. Alright, it's been a couple more days. I just wanted to show you guys how to trellis this Brad's Atomic Grape tomato onto the cattle panel. So you see it's kind of growing a little taller now, up and through. Make sure to be really gentle, not damage the flowers, but you just kind of loop it around so it stays, you know, growing up this thing. And it'll reach the top in a couple weeks and months. So that's all you need to do. And then your tomatoes will have a lot of airflow and produce a lot of tomatoes for you. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a nice day.